So here is Roman, and we are in October now, and he's kind of been on the back burner per se. It's been a pretty busy eventing season, and you can see he's looking really well. His weight's looking really, really good. So I've been really pleased with how he's looking. So now it's time for him to come up into the barn, and this is his first time in the cross ties. And you'll see I will always put the newbies in the wash bay that has the wall, the solid wall, versus the one that has the window. The window is just too much information for them with being able to see stuff behind them. So I'm just going to go back and work on all the things he kind of knows. So all the touching stuff that we had done before and the brushing, which he does seem to enjoy a lot of his grooming time. And so again, we're kind of picking up where we left off a little bit. But he's a very good boy. Again, he has a great temperament. He's very willing to try, and he's pretty calm about things. But I'm going to make sure I give him that time to process. And he's handling, being in the wash bay, the wash rack pretty well with the fans and the sounds. I had a nice kind of lick and chew there. I'm going to show him the brush. I like to introduce them to the objects before, I start using it on them. And he's also handling my working students kind of walking around the barn pretty well. So I'm going to let him think about that. You can see he gets a little worried. And again, that's when my dog Fergus with the bell is running around, and he can't quite detect what it is or where it's coming from. But it's a pretty good reaction to when he gets worried. You can very easily tell, and he comes right back down. Again, I'm going to show him the brush, and I'm just going to speed this up for you guys. And he was very good. And then just giving him the time here to have that moment to think about it. And now I'm going to go and start brushing his mane. Again, I really believe in spending a lot of the time grooming them and getting them kind of used to that. It really helps in building the relationship and gaining that trust. So he's also been a little worried about his poll and his ears. So just getting some ear massage at kind of like the base can help relax that a little bit. And then we get a face cuddle. And he's funny because he has always been very kind of comfortable having that face kind of security cuddle type thing, which is interesting for me because I've had a couple of them be that way. You can see Megan is bringing her Mustang in, and I did not think it was a very good idea because you can see Roman is getting a little reactive because they can tend to feed off of each other. So I suggested that she take him out of the wash rack while I finished up with Roman, just for in the beginning when I didn't want to have two insecure horses feeding off of each other at the same time. And so you could see Roman got pretty nervous about that and was unsure, but it was a good little exercise for him. So we have to kind of go through a little bit here. And I very gently have these cross ties. I have a hay string that is just loosely tied. So if they are to kind of pull back or anything is to happen, it breaks off fairly easily. So I'm just going to give him a rub here because he got a little insecure. and we have a little bit of worry. But sometimes that's what happens. So again, I'm just gonna keep rubbing him, telling him it's all right, and see if I can get his focus back to being relaxed. I'm gonna go back and brush his tail out. It's a little bit of a helpful distraction for him. And now I'm going to go and pick his feet. And that black bucket, we actually use the bucket to pick up the dirt, so we don't have a ton of dirt on the wash rack that goes into the drain. But I don't do that the first couple of times. I have the young ones in the wash rack. So I have to kind of build up to having the bucket come under their foot and take the dirt. But he handled that pretty well. And I tend to always like to do the fronts first and then work my way to the back. So I kind of work each side of the brain and then work my way to the back, instead of if I do a front foot and then a back foot. Just in the beginning, that's how I do the training. As we go along, then it doesn't matter. But he's starting to kind of refocus a little bit and become a little bit more level-headed again. You can see when he worries, his head really goes up and his eyes get kind of big. And then just having a bunch of approach and retreat. Again, going off of the feel, he already kind of had it a little cocked, and he was perfect about me picking up that hind foot. And also another little test is where if I can pick up that hind foot and then kind of place it next to my body, sometimes they can get a little worried when your body touches their body, and it's always the scariest part, is closing that gap. It's never fun. It doesn't matter how much you prep them or how well they are. It's still always nerve-wracking the first couple of times. And you can see he handled the little dog Flint kind of coming into the wash rack, and he looks like some type of creature, even though he's a Pomeranian. He handled that really well while I was picking up a hind foot. So lots of things happening in the barn, but I was really pleased with it. He got a little nervous, but he came right back around. So here he is in his stall enjoying his stable feed, and he's already sticking his head out, and he's just a good boy with a good mind. But we do have a hurricane coming, and so he's going to be in the stall for the night, and he's been a good boy.